Hey guys, and welcome back to the series where we talk nothing but Fantasy Premier League. Don't forget to drop me a like on this video if you are entertained. Let's see if we can hit a season best of 75 likes this week. And if you're new around here, get subscribed and stay tuned for my weekly videos throughout the season. Heading into Game Week 8, a lot was demanded of the Brettsby Babes, following a disappointing return of only 39 points before the international break. Simply, it wasn't good enough, and rightfully so, the fans demanded a response. After a good dressing down and an immaculate team talk from myself, my team were ready for the challenge ahead. All that I needed now was a leader, someone to take the captain's armband, take the weight of responsibility on their shoulders, and lead these lads into battle. I'd spent days racking my brains. Do I go with Son or Sanchez maybe? But in the end, I needed a safe bet. Mr. Reliable, someone with years of Premier League experience. Someone labelled the best player in the league, the goal machine, Mr. Consistent. Oh, you're having my f***ing life, aren't you? Yeah. Seems about right, doesn't it? Alright, so our captain let us down this week, and it turned out to be a whirlwind game week for owners of Aguero. Firstly, the disappointment of him not starting, then a sense of promise as he came off the bench, to sheer elation when he was awarded the penalty, only to be left in horror and self-loathing as he subsequently missed the penalty and left himself on minus points for the game week. Nightmare fuel. But I won't be dwelling on this disappointment any longer, because on the day, other players from my side stood out and have bagged my team a very respectable 55 points. I'm a lot happier with this total than I'd usually be, because it ended up being quite a difficult game week overall, with the average of 39 being the lowest of the season. So despite the shocker from Aguero, ultimately this was a very admirable game week for the Brettsby Babes, and should hopefully keep you the fans happy. And the fact that I took 0 point hits this week makes it all the more sweeter. As discussed in my last video, I strongly considered the double up on that Arsenal midfield, and I went ahead with that decision and it's paid dividends, with Walcott, my new signing, bagging 2 goals and an excellent 13-point haul. Not only is doubling up on Arsenal seen me pick up 18 points this week, but now I've got Walcott and Sanchez for the following 2 game weeks, against Middlesbrough and Sunderland, which I'm feeling pretty good about. Etienne Capoue, who took a drastic downturn in form since he debuted for the Brettsby Babes, made way for Walcott this week, and this seems justified so far, despite his low price tag, with another blank from him. I wasn't really fancying Lukaku against Man City this game week, but being in form, and with one eye closely kept on game week 9, with a game against Burnley, I decided to stick by him, and he ended up rewarding me with an excellently taken goal. Another man who seems to be red hot at the moment is Charlie Austin, who bagged another 2 goals for his efforts. That's 4 and 4 for him now, in a Southampton side who are oozing confidence at the moment. But he does face 2 difficult fixtures in the next 2 weeks, with Man City and Chelsea to come. I'll be bearing that in mind in the upcoming days, but then again, Man City can't seem to keep a clean sheet for love nor money. Dejan Lovren capped off my game week nicely, with a clean sheet and bonus point in a fiery but ultimately dull Red Monday. Despite all the hype, it wasn't a great game to be fair, but it did take my team above the 50-point mark, so I was still celebrating. My players to watch this week isn't quite as star-studded as you might usually find it. But then again, how could it be, after a rather bizarre game week that saw the team of the week look like a championship side at best? To be fair, there were a lot of superb performances this week from many lower price differentials. After a 6-1 demolition of Hull, I feel it only fair to include one Bournemouth player this week. And in Stanislas's case, it's hard to ignore a player who picks up 21 points for the game week, especially at a price of 5.5 million. If this game week was just a one-off, then maybe he wouldn't be included, but in the 2 previous game weeks to this, he's also picked up points, including 11 points against Everton. He seems to be on penalty duty also, which is another case to make for him. For me personally, Stanislas is not a long-term consideration, but on current form, and a confident Bournemouth playing Middlesbrough and Sunderland in 2 of the next 3 games, then he certainly looks value for money. I may just hold off of Stanislas and Callum Wilson until they get their next game against Spurs out of the way first. Joe Allen is a player I never thought I'd be mentioning in a player to watch section, and generally fits the mould of a player that you'd never put in your side from an FPL perspective. But since Stoke's small upturn in form, Allen has been pivotal and their brightest spark. The Welsh Pearler seems to have a much more creative role in that Stoke team, and now has 4 goals in his last 3, after 3 exceptional game weeks, and his ridiculously cheap 4.9 million valuation. It seems to have bandwagon trap written all over it, and it's normally the kind of formula that has always hurt me in the past. I mean, surely he can't continue this form, right? I thought that for weeks with Capoue, and he kept proving me wrong. Whether it's genius or suicide, I'm sure a lot of people will be taking a punt on him this week. And with Stoke's fixture list looking mouth-watering until mid-December, you can see why. Plus, he plays Hull next, who are conceding goals for fun at the moment. What a headache this might turn out to be. Theo Walcott retains his place in my players to watch this week after another impressive display against Swansea. I knew it was never going to be easy for Arsenal against their bogey side, but Theo did well to lead his team to victory. He really should have had 3 or 4 in this game, with many chances to improve his tally, and I suppose this is the more frustrating side to him. But as an FPL manager, you still can't complain with 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 4 outings. Arsenal's fixtures remain favourable too, so I can see a lot more Walcott owners cropping up this week. It only took Diego Costa 7 minutes against the defending champions to continue his hot streak, and now he has a point return in 7 of the opening 8 game weeks. On this kind of form, it seems ludicrous that he's currently out of my side, and out of anyone's for that matter. But as it stands, I would play with caution, as he is only 1 booking away from a ban. With United in his next game, it could be a spicy affair, so it could go either way for him. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this series this week. Really hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like the video and get subscribed if you haven't already. And also, keep an eye out in a day or 2 for the latest episode of my new series, the FPL Point Predictor, where I'll be analysing my choices from last week and then bringing out my new team of 5 who I think are guaranteed points in Game Week 9. Thank you all for the support, and I'll catch you all soon.